And as this book says, true privilege has nothing to do with money or status. It's not a material thing, it's an emotional thing. Let's dive in. Why do we always think about money and status when we think about privilege? What does it mean to be a privileged child? Because I've seen plenty of adults who grew up in wealthy families, but they were like beggars of love. They were begging for love, attention, care, understanding almost every day. So I'm confused. I picked up this book, How to Overcome Your Childhood Now That You Survive It. Understand the past and move on to the future, from the School of Life. And this book gave me some ideas about what true privilege feels like. So let's redefine a privileged childhood. Hi friends, and welcome. These are a few signs that you were a privileged kid. And as this book says, true privilege has nothing to do with money or status. It's not a material thing, it's an emotional thing. Let's dive in. The privileged child is allowed and even encouraged to be a child, to behave like a child, to be expressive, to be giddish, foolish, alive, happy, and playful. This is the definition of a child, after all, right? A child should feel privileged when his parents allow themselves to enter the child's little world and play with him. Just play. No phones, no meetings, no work, no distractions. Just play with your kid for 10, 15 minutes or for the rest of the day. Just you and them, hosting a tea party or playing football the whole day. A privileged child is a child who's loved unconditionally, and that love was expressed out loud, was there on the surface, was felt, seen. Through words, actions, hugs. A privileged child is not a child who was brought up in a bubble. No, it's not what I mean. Who doesn't have any notion of what money or bills or hard work means. No. Is a child who was somehow saved from the nasty aspects of life, from the struggles that you had when paying bills, or from your own childhood trauma, or from the scars of a broken marriage or poor choices in love. A privileged child is one who wasn't forced to grow overnight, who was allowed to take their time and be a kid. A privileged child is a child who grows up with approachable parents. What does it mean? Well, let me have a sip of that. Well, I remember in high school, I had this friend, and her father was a doctor. And I remember that she said to me something like, well, if I want to talk to my dad, I actually have to make an appointment. This is how he was that busy and that unapproachable to her that she actually had to make an appointment to talk to her dad about small things or big things. So the parent here is a god, someone who's put on a pedestal, and it's almost impossible to reach them, to touch them, to talk to them, to feel their presence. So a privileged child is a one who can actually talk to their parents, who doesn't have to set up an appointment to have a friendly chat and some good, healthy advice from their own parents. You should consider yourself a privileged child when your parents were able to put up with your revolutions, with this difficult process of growing up, of trying to find your own identity, the place in this world. And they didn't force you to be too good and too obedient too soon and in all circumstances of life. They allowed you to be rebellious. Those parents have the power to put their own needs aside and empathize and try to understand what the child is saying, or what the child can't say, what the child is feeling. A parent like this can model healthy emotional expression and helps the child to label emotions, to express them, and to cope with them through healthy mechanisms like arts, sports, hobbies, friends. You should consider yourself lucky when your parents encourage you to fly away, to find your own independence, who do not cling on to you at any cost. And when you finally move on and start your own life, they don't see that act like a betrayal. You lucky bird. You should consider yourself lucky if your parents listened to you, validated you, and empathized with you. That's true privilege, believe me.